Hey guys, welcome to Nate and Greg's World. Today we're getting into some crazy stuff here. And because we did that, or are going to do that, we've got Jay and Ange, new person on our show. Both, as you know, Jay from the Evil Von Scary Show, and Ange is one of the people that apparently keep him sane or keep him, I don't know, what would you call that? Grounded. There we go. Yeah, so before he goes completely crazy off on a theory, she's like, okay, hold on a second, have a look here. But today we're going to be discussing an article that they went and put up on their webpage there, the evilvonscary.com. And it's all about, where is it? Cults, killers, and intelligence agencies. So we're going to be getting into some crazy stuff here. So make sure you hit that subscribe and bell icon. Stay up to date with us on all of our different platforms there. Make sure you leave a comment down below. And yeah, let's get into this. I know last time we had you on, we jumped into Epstein there, and we talked for about an hour and a half before we even started recording, and my mind was completely blown up and stuff like this.
My head still hurts.
Yeah.
That's because I made you drink from the fire hose.
Yeah. So there was a lot of information that went on, a lot of great information, a lot of good connections. So if you haven't seen that episode yet, folks, I highly recommend check that out because there's some crazy stuff that went on in that episode. But to help out some of our listeners that aren't quite into or don't quite understand everything that we're about to talk about, we decided we're going to make this into a little bit more of a crawl, walk, run type thing. So we're going to start off a little bit slower and speed it right up. So we recommend watching the whole thing, even for those of you that are in the know. Just pay attention to the beginning, enjoy it, please. Help get our analytics up. We need all the help we can get. So first off, Jay, you want to give us a quick synopsis of what the article was about? Like, I've read it and it blew my fucking mind.
Okay.
It took me forever.
Yeah, like I've always kind of had a pet theory about that there being cults and sometimes maybe or serial killers that have had some influence either through programs like MK Ultra or intelligence agencies, and there are ones that do have connections. And so I just kind of explored different cults and things, different serial killers that did, so in some cases tentative, like speculative, I guess, if you want to call it, and then other ones smoking guns, like like where there is definite like documents and things to prove that yes, they had ties to intelligence agencies, and as to what purpose, that's up for debate in some cases.
Right. Yeah, and like you went in, you hit up a lot of different things, and like there's so many hyperlinks throughout this whole thing. I was like, okay, cool. Well, was that all the article? And then I actually went and I actually started clicking on the hyperlinks, and I just went, holy crap, because there was so much more. Like, you have some stuff embedded, like videos and stuff in the article itself, but you start going into the hyperlinks, and like, if you guys all saw my screen right now, you'd see that I have about 20 different tabs going across the top there of all these hyperlinks that came out, and it's just absolutely crazy the stuff that you have linked everywhere.
And a lot of it there too, I try to go by like source documents from the FBI, the CIA, etc. So for some of our more paranoid, some of your more paranoid listeners, yes, I do link to the CIA website. Okay, but it's the Freedom of Information requests that they've published over the years. Like, so essentially, as soon as somebody puts in a Freedom of Information Act request, and it's been passed through, granted, a lot of them are redacted. Like, you're going to be reading a lot of black lines, and then Johnny went to nothing, right?
Right.
Oh, we've seen some of those pages recently in the news with our own government, but that's another story. Carry on.
Exactly. So, but anyway, if you're a little paranoid, I wouldn't worry about it there. The CIA is not going to track back. It is a public service that they put out to say, here's things that are no longer secret.
Are you sure?
No, nobody's ever sure of anything. But I think that there's probably a lot worse things you could do. But, for the naysayers is mostly what I do that for. For people like, oh, well, that doesn't exist. Well, really? Okay, I guess the FBI is lying again, or the CIA is lying.
But how do you know? How do you know whether those documents, they're being honest and upfront about it, or they're just playing off a different story?
Well, because you never take anything they say at face value. You got to do the research and look more into it, and then Anything say in journalism or intelligence or anything, you have to have like 3 independent corroborating pieces of evidence to say, okay, something is there. Doesn't mean, yes, that's the smoking gun, but as long as you can have 3 independent sources that have nothing to do with each other telling you the same story, well, it's up to you how, like I've told you guys before, how paranoid you want to be.
Right.
Because, otherwise you're going to be a puddle in the corner crying and pissing on yourself by the end of it, right?
Well, and that's the thing. Like Nate brings it up, because a little bit later we're going to be getting in on this because we're really talking about how ultimately the different government agencies are using cults to help create killers is really what this whole thing's boiling down to.
Well, in some instances, in other instances, it could be just, as a front.
Right.
They'll use these things as fronts to infiltrate agents into, like, say, they got a cult in Hong Kong, for instance. Like, I'm not saying, specifically, I'm not giving any state secrets away. But as an example, and then they could use their people in that cult to infiltrate other areas, or while the cult's banging tambourines at the airport, some of the cult's taking pictures.
Right.
And they aren't actually part of the cult. They're part of the intelligence agency using that as a front.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
But there are other instances where, there's, like some definite like programs gone wrong.
Yeah. Well,
Like
do you think they do it for like testing purposes? Just to see
why not?
Happen?
It's the perfect deniability.
Right. Because like there's all those talks about the LSD trials with different people and
with MK Ultra,
what it does.
Yeah, and there's still enough documents, even though they allegedly shredded them all.
Right.
Like right before the church committee hearing in '74, like. 2 weeks before they were supposed to go testify to the Congress, right?
Right.
They just disappeared.
Yeah.
But the files we do have are because they were misfiled, right? Under business finance or something like that. That's the only reason we even know about MK Ultras.
Right.
Because it was misfiled. Human error.
By mistake.
Exactly. Yep. Well, and then a lot of it too is the finance part of it, right? Because they're thinking, okay, well, it doesn't name anybody. It's just paper clips and whatever. But the thing is, you can use that, and that's actually how a lot of intelligence agencies do get intelligence. Is how come that group's buying 50 jars of mayonnaise, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of sandwiches.
But who are they feeding? Well, for instance, the Al Qaeda guys in Chechnya, were actually were buying mayonnaise in bulk because up in the mountains they'd use it as a ready source of protein. That's actually a fact.
Oh, that's nasty.
No, but the thing is, though, like you're up in the mountains, like you got to eat, and you're burning a lot of energy. So that was actually something they used.
There's a lot of fat in it. A lot of
fat, a lot of nutrients and everything. Yeah, they were actually surviving off that, and then plus it was something off the grid that most people would be like, "Oh, it's mayonnaise." No, we're looking for weapons and we're looking for chemicals.
I wonder if that lady that just broke the record is Al Qaeda.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
I'm wondering. That ate all that mayonnaise.
What was it? 8 gallons of mayonnaise there in 5 minutes or something?
Maybe she's a Chechen war veteran.
Maybe. Yeah. She's a sleeper agent.
There we go. Guinness, you might want to look into that. Okay, so as I said, we're going to be talking a bit about cults and stuff like that. So let's try to get a definition of a cult, because I know if we asked my mom, it'd be anybody that wasn't fucking part of the church.
Yeah.
So
anybody outside of my group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Led by Ozzy.
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah. So you want to help us out defining a cult here for us?
Oh, defining a cult? I could name you some cults.
Right.
Cult-like behavior.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I could define.
Well, because like I know the one clip that's on the article here on the website there, it's with Steve Hassan there, and we're going to discuss who he is in a minute. It's a great interview. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get through the full thing, but he discusses the whole cult mentality and all that stuff there.
Well, he was in a cult.
Yeah.
He was in the Moonies.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about them in a second too, because the hold that they have on people or on different organizations is fucking crazy.
Because really, like the simple definition, I guess, of a cult would be just a group of people that come together on like the cult as we see it, kind of thing.
Yes.
Like generically, would be they have like a Jim Jones type of leader, like somebody very charismatic that kind of leads them to where they might not otherwise want to be or to do or to, and then changes the way they think, changes the way they act, and then sometimes it ends in a nefarious purpose. Now, I guess would be kind of like your working definition of a cult.
Right.
But going back to what your mom said, though, like if you go to established religions, they would say anything outside of our immediate dogma is a cult.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of room for discussion on exactly what a cult is.
It's mainly weak-minded people. Like
no,
a lot of
not at all.
would say.
No, not at all.
And that's always a big argument. Well, those are weak-minded
Okay, well, let's
people.
take a look at the David Koresh. The guy had like a friggin' a Nobel Prize winning physicist there, like it was his number 2 or whatever. You know, like
right.
Well, look at Jack Parsons.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he was part of the whole Aleister Crowley.
Yep.
And like he's responsible for
Temple of Dawn.
Yeah.
Temple of Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And he's a genius. Like
like a rocket scientist. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, because like I know Steve Hassan, he gets into it where he talks about the destructive cults.
Yeah.
But then the positive cults. So
like for instance, CrossFit.
Yeah, CrossFit.
CrossFit.
It's a cult.
Yeah. Sorry for all you CrossFit freaks out there. Like
Lululemon wearing.
Yeah, I feel like putting a
Kool-Aid.
bag over your head and then handing you a bottle of whiskey and big fat pills or something. But but technically it's a cult. Like it does. Like if you take a look at the parameters of a cult.
Yeah.
But I guess it would be what Mr. Hassan considers a positive cult, right? Because you get into shape and you feel better about yourself and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But then, it is like a cult.
Yeah.
Or for instance, like Misfits. Like we're both huge Misfits freaks.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, what's the deal with the Misfits? And I just tell people, I'm like, well, it's kind of like a cult. And then that usually scares the normies away, and then we don't have to talk to them, right?
Well, it's really like a large group of people, or a group of people that have the same beliefs. Really,
essentially,
right? Like, I mean, they can be used to do things, but they have a certain way of life that they believe in, or whatever. And that's
a certain philosophy, dogma, etc.
And there's usually one supreme leader. Like it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
There's one guy calling the shots.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, like the video in the article, it's really really cool. It's with Steve Hassan there.
Yeah, he's a cult deprogrammer.
Yeah. So apparently he was with the Moonies, who we'll touch on a little bit later, but it was this other massive cult, otherwise known as the Unification Church.
Yep.
And he was part of it, but then he managed to get the hell out of there. Once he kind of woke up and said, "I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore."
Yeah, like from the gist I could get out of him, like just watching the videos and reading articles and stuff. Like he was kind of like upper middle management, really.
Yeah.
Right? Like he recruited, raised funds, etc. for them, and then eventually kind of went, hey, wait a minute, this is not good. We're not leading people to something positive. We're just using them. So
right.
Yeah, because he talks a lot about the bite method. Yeah. Right? The behavioral control, the information control, thought control, and emotional control. And so when somebody actually has that kind of control over you, there's a good chance you're gonna get fucked.
Yep.
Big time. So
well, it's because you've surrendered your own mind to the supreme leader, as it were, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or to their dogma, right?
Yeah. But for the sake of this podcast, we're gonna end up talking more about the destructive cults.
Yeah.
That's really what we're getting into, because it's some dark shit. And you know what? People like to hear about dark shit. You know what? Nobody wants to hear about, you see yoga or not yoga, fucking CrossFit and fucking all this shit.
Hello Kitty is a cult.
Yes. like fucking, it's interesting, but not that fucking interesting. Yeah. So we're, I recommend, I'm going to keep recommending throughout the entire podcast that everybody goes, checks out evilvonscary.com and check out this article. Go click all the fucking links, get an FBI and CIA watching you, and fucking
it's too late.
Check out all the
yourself.
Stuff. Check out all the
right.
Check it all out. It's fucking fantastic. But definitely check out the whole video with Steve Hassan there. We'll probably talk a little bit more about him a little bit later, but especially about his behavioral control, information control, thought control, and emotion control, the whole bite method, because it's rather interesting. Mm-hmm. But now some of the people or some of the cults that you have in the article were the Manson family.
Yeah.
That was one of them there. So you want to give us the Cole's Notes version of what the public knows about the Manson family?
If you want to take that one, Andrew, you're the expert on the serial killers, etc.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's two different Manson families. There was the
Okay.
Manson family before the murders, and then there's the
Okay.
Manson family after the murders.
Right.
So there's like the A team and the B team.
Right.
Right. So the A team they're the ones who committed the murders. They were the most
And that's the Tate Bianca
the
murders.
Tate LaBianca murders.
Yeah, LaBianca. That's it.
Tex Watson.
Yeah. There's the original group with your squeaky from, and then there's the B team who went out. You know, when Manson did the X in his head and that sort of thing, he was signaling to the B team, and they went out and I think they robbed a store or something like that, got into some sort of shootout. They fucked everything up.
Right.
Which is why they were the B team.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They're too high on shit to fucking do stuff.
Yeah, but B team happened when he was in jail. So you have the original cult, and then you have like the cult that came after because he was Charles Manson.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So is that more like the followers of Charles Manson? Like they weren't part of that clique?
Yeah, some of them may have been part of the original clique, but they weren't within the inner circle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of small, like that inner circle, right?
It was. There were a lot of cult members, but the inner circle, the ones that actually committed the crime, were much smaller.
Five of them, I think.
Yeah.
Or something. Five of them.
Right. Yeah, but I think what it was the whole thing is, you know, you had this guy, Charlie Manson, fucking apparently just a big old hippie type thing, went and brought a bunch of people out to the middle of the fucking desert, you know, doing hippie shit, taking lots of drugs.
Yeah,
and
Spawn,
then
Spawn Ranch.
Yeah, and then fucking one point in time it started to get a little bit darker, and then fucking they went and killed all those people, and then that's when shit went south for them.
Yeah,
you know.
But the thing is, though, and then that's where we get into the bite model and everything.
Yeah.
He spent a long time cultivating these people.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you know, like have them all wired for sound on LSD and everything else, and whatever drugs they got a hold of, and then he kind of broke them down a little bit at a time. Like got rid of their inhibitions, like, you know what I mean? Like it didn't just go from here, join Charlie, go kill people. No, it
takes time.
It took a lot of time for him to convince them to be free from their inhibitions, like sexually, emotionally, you know, all the things in the bite model there, right?
Right.
So
yeah, well, and the drugs had a lot to do with that whole thing too. Like, wasn't it?
Yeah,
part of
drugs,
the LSD
alcohol,
testing, that family.
Well, that's where the connection with the MK Ultra comes in.
Right.
Yeah, we want to hit that just a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll tap into that later there, but yeah, there are some ties there.
Yeah.
Okay, but then we have Jim Jones and the People's Temple.
Yep.
So I went, and in your article you actually have the Jim Jones death tapes.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, man, those were fucking disturbing as hell to listen to.
Well, that was where Jim Jones kind of pulled the plug on the whole Jonestown thing, right? Where he's like, you know, liquidating all the followers, and he decided, okay, mass suicide time.
Yeah.
You can hear the chaos happening in the background.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the thing. Like my daughter and I, older daughter, let's just be very clear to all of my listeners. I'm not bringing like a 5-year-old in. Hey, listen to these death tapes. Okay. We listened to that. We were fucking highly disturbed about the whole thing. But then we're like, you know what? Hold on. I got to see more about the shit, because it happened when, well, I think before me. What year was that?
78, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So a little bit before I was born. Okay. So I knew of it. I heard about Jonestown. The story was still going on, you know, for many, many years. And that's also where I found out that, you know, the whole "don't drink the Kool-Aid" fucking term comes from.
Well, it was apparently for Flavor Aid.
It was not Kool-Aid. It was Flavor Aid.
But, you know, people
don't
knew
drink
Kool-Aid.
it anyways.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But what was it? So apparently he was originally a minister in California, I believe it was.
Illinois, actually, is where he started.
Okay. Yeah.
He started in Illinois.
He sold monkeys door to door.
Yeah.
Monkeys.
Yeah, he was a door-to-door sales guy selling monkeys. Yeah, fucking of all goddamn things.
Like real monkeys?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like spider monkeys or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm interested. Maybe I want to join the People's. Right.
I love monkeys.
Well, no, but that's how he got his thing. Now, when you talk about positive and destructive cults, he did start off positive.
Yeah.
He really did.
He actually did. He was because at that time, I want to say it's Illinois or Ohio, but or Iowa. I know. I'm pretty sure it's Illinois.
Yeah.
But he was one of the first churches in that area to actually have integration like between all the races, like where he had like, you know, blacks, Jews, didn't matter, right? Like whites.
And he actively preached it.
And he actually, and he did actively preach that, you know, like it's open to everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, young, old, whatever.
Right. Real inclusivity.
He actually did have inclusivity. Like,
and now this is where we find out where inclusivity goes wrong. No.
well, in this case,
but he had it all the way through.
But he had it all the way through. Yeah. He was very anti-racist. You know, like you know, like so initially when it started off, it was like, well, you know, and if you're religiously inclined, it's like, well, why wouldn't you join?
It makes a lot of sense. You know,
he had a lot of, you know, he was kind of progressive and a lot of positive social.
Well, and he was at a perfect timing when things were changing.
Yeah, like in the 50s into the 60s,
and inclusivity and all that stuff.
But he ended up taking his church there and
moving him to San Fran.
And then after that, there was a little bit of a, we'll say a light switch moment for him where things fucking changed, and he moved everybody down to Guyana, I believe it was, and then created Jonestown, where it was this
the People's Temple's agricultural project.
And they're all supposedly the cover story is they were all just hanging out as like one big commune. Let's get together, pray, and, you know, feed each other. True.
Well, he did.
I guess socialist type.
He started getting a little apocalyptic before they moved to Guyana, because he was talking about the possibility of nuclear war. Guyana was considered one of the safer places in the world where the fallout wouldn't get them. And
where the whole documentary got me was when they said that they would work from sun up to sundown and only eat rice.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm fucking out. There's no way I would join that cult.
And then that's another, and that is another marker of the bad cults is diet control.
Right.
And I believe it was proven years ago that if you take protein out of the equation, for daily meals or weekly or whatever that
was MK Ultra here in Canada.
Yeah.
Doing the experiments on the nutritional experiments.
Is that
right.
Ravencroft in Montreal?
Oh, no, was it? Yeah, that was the one building, but it was Memorial Hospital, Montreal Memorial Hospital.
Yeah,
there's a few sites though. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. We're gonna bring that up in a second here. But so then.
So anyway, sorry, with the protein thing before I got sidetracked there. So with the protein taken out of it, the idea is that all of a sudden some of your cognitive abilities, like your ability to kind of process right and wrong and things like that, are actually decreased.
Yeah.
So then that comes into the control, where they can get more control over your behavior and your thinking, and
So
essentially, and then you get the exhaustion because they're working all day, and he kept doing those middle of the night calls.
White Night.
White Night.
Yeah.
Where he'd call everybody out at 3 in the morning.
White Night.
To talk. Yeah. But so they got exhaustion, they got cognitive issues.
Yep.
Fuck, I'd be drinking the Kool-Aid too by the end.
Yeah.
I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, the military uses the same kind of process, right?
Right. Yeah.
Except they actually they do over protein.
Yeah. Over protein, no sleep. Yeah, I think I played that game once.
I was gonna say more so they go with the no sleep. Right.
Yeah.
So then is the military a destructive or a positive cult, Jay?
Depends on your point of view.
Yeah.
It's
which
all
end of the gun you're standing on.
Exactly. Yeah. Which side of that rifle you're standing on.
Yeah. But so he is ended up going creating Jonestown. Everybody's down there, sunrise and sundown, you know, but it's a big happy thing. But then we have relatives that go and are like, wait a second, we haven't heard from our family in a while. We don't think things are right. So then they go and they send down the senator or congressman?
Congressman Leo Ryan. Yeah, well, because people were like, my grandmother just sold the entire estate of the family and then gave it all to the temple and and then disappeared. We haven't seen grandma in a year. Like, you know what I mean? Because he had everybody from like kids to senior citizens.
Over 300 children at the end or something like that.
300 children.
Yeah, well, because there was whole families that were getting sucked into it.
Yeah.
Generations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So fucking Ryan, he goes down with a bunch of the families, a bunch of reporters, stuff like this, and they go in, they do an investigation, and everything seems kind of happy at first, and then they start getting whiffs of something's not right.
Well, one of the members slipped Ryan a kind of like a secret note, literally.
Help get me out.
And then it fell out, and then one of Jones's kind of goons there freaking found it, and it was like, hey, what the fuck? Somebody's trying to get the hell out of here. We don't want that. Because, like,
Yeah.
you know, when people were trying to leave, they were trying to stop them. And
well,
that
they
was
put on a big show for them when they came down, right? Like, everyone was eating fresh fruit.
Yeah, there's a concert type thing that they put on.
They put on a huge show.
And then the prep work to them coming out there, he was interviewing each member of this, like, what are you going to say when they ask you this question?
Yeah.
What are you?
There was a
and
lot
he
of
would give them a
preparation.
pass or a fail, and be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. But then I guess when the whole entourage of Ryan and his, you know, the media and all that, they go to leave, and then next thing you know, they're getting shot up on the airway tarmac,
and the airport,
all that stuff there, and then
or the airstrip. Let's be, I don't want to call it an airport because there wasn't like there wasn't a proper control tower. Some guy
it was
like
a dirt track
with coconuts, you know, like
yeah.
It was very Gilligan's Island.
But then the next report that we end up getting is that 903 people are dead at.
There was a few different reports because initially it was like 200 some odd.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh no, it's 400 some odd. And then I think the final number was 900 plus. And then
well, it was just, if you see the pictures, it's just bodies on top of bodies on top of bodies, like.
And they figured, like, once again, right now we're just going with the public facts, Cole's notes, right? And we're going to get into more of this shit later.
Yeah.
But ultimately they ended up figuring out that basically they'd all committed suicide by drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak, right? And stuff like this.
Well,
but
a
then,
lot of them were forced too.
Yeah,
and that's what we found out a little bit later.
That comes out later.
That was from the Guyanese authorities doing autopsies.
Yeah, so there was a lot of bad shit that ended up going on. And yeah, as you said, like, and there was a lot of them that apparently didn't drink, but were forced to take it, you know, some by like injection and stuff like this. But like over 300 kids were killed.
Well, and some people were shot.
Yeah. You know,
it's even some of the people who survived. Like, I remember an interview with one elderly lady who, like, she was in the infirmary or something. She slept through it
underneath the bed.
And she regretted not
dying
leaving the world with her family.
Jesus.
Like, that's just how deep he had his claws in.
Well, and they killed off the kids first too, right? Like, they took the kids out.
I think they took the men out first.
Was it men? Because the documentary kind of made it sound like the kids went first.
Yeah.
I almost thought that was like, okay, they're doing that because if the kids are done, the adults are going to back out.
Yeah, like to a certain extent. But
like,
I think the first people they knocked off, according to witnesses and stuff like, were the ones that were kind of sitting on the fence, right?
Yes.
Right.
You know, any of the ones that were like, oh, I want out of here, I'm going to go with the congressman.
Because in the beginning, they thought that this was another white night, like just another test
drill.
run until people started dying.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Either way, it was definitely a fucked up situation. And once again, you listen to the fucking death tapes in the article, and then, like, I personally went and watched Paradise Lost.
Mm-hmm.
You find it on YouTube, and it was pretty interesting what's going on. But I know we're going to bring up another fact that in the death tapes somebody is mentioned, but then in the documentary there is not a word about this one person, and we're going to talk about that.
I think that's deliberate, because they're trying to sell you a story, right?
Yes.
Not to say don't watch the documentary, because definitely watch it.
Oh yeah,
but realize
see how crazy
there's more layers to the onion.
To what? Yeah, of course.
And that's ultimately what we're going to end up uncovering on this episode here. But then we got the Unification Church, and I want to know, okay, like, who the fuck?
Okay, Cole's notes.
Cole's notes.
Cole's notes is let's teleport ourselves to 1950s Korea.
Yeah.
Okay. Close your eyes and
I was just about to do something, but I realized I might get canceled for it.
But... Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so post Korean War, between North and South Korea, you had the Korean CIA formed, like literally called the Korean CIA, KCIA.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Okay. Not much imagination on their end. I think it would have said, maybe in Korean it's different. I don't know. I don't really speak it.
Sounds cooler.
Counting to 4.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Korean CIA is formed with the help of CIA. Now, what they wanted was they needed something that could be really anti-communist, right? And then Korea has a huge population of Christians, like just huge, like, very large population of Christians. So they got Reverend Sung Young Moon there. My apologies if I'm mispronouncing the name. He started the Unification Church with their help with the Korean CIA.
Right.
The idea being that, well, if we bring everybody to Jesus, they're not going to go to Mao, right? They're not going to go to the godless communism. They'll support, our thing. So that's kind of how the whole cult started. And the thing is he was like, I'm the supreme leader. I'm kind of the incarnation or the Messiah, or the new, I guess, whatever you want to call it. I don't think he deliberately said he was Jesus, but he was kind of like the new prophet, I guess.
Prophet, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And then so, he's infallible. He can do no wrong. Give me your money. Follow me.
Right.
Very much the cult that we would consider a cult.
Right. But they were doing it at the time to keep religion going the one way. And stay away
essentially,
from
to keep people, give people a focus, etc., and keep them away from the communism. Because, there was a lot of propaganda going both ways. Like it was a very, very, very messy war.
Right.
Right. And we're going to find out a little bit later about how far the Unification Church has gone, because you went and in your article, you found a list of some of the properties that they
actually
own, control, all this stuff there. And it's unbelievable looking at some of the shit that they have. Like I'm going down the list. I'm like, okay, well, I don't recognize that. Whoa, I know this. Yeah. I know this, and I know this.
It's actually pretty shocking. Like, probably the most successful cult in my book.
Yeah. Just looking at what they own is unbelievable.
Yeah, and the influence they have, etc.
Yeah. Okay, so we've hinted at it over and over again, and brief talk. MK Ultra.
Yep.
Because this is where a lot of this making the connection.
Cole's Notes version, or
Cole's Notes of MK Ultra. Okay. What was the idea behind it, and then afterwards we're gonna make the connection between the different cults and
intersectionality.
Yes. Okay, so what?
Cole's Notes, MK Ultra. Okay, the idea, like it's a big umbrella, and I'm really kind of boiling it down. Because I'm sorry to anybody out there, be like, hey, you forgot about this, you forgot about.
Yeah,
we're just trying to.
We're doing the Reader's Digest version.
We're doing the Reader's Digest version. So at the end of the day, what they were looking for was something where they could control people through drugs, hypnosis, other kind of programs, to create either spies or people that could deliver messages and stuff.
Who was running it?
The Christians in Action.
Christians in Action.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, Central Intelligence Agency.
Yeah. A different CIA.
Sorry, I had to dig at it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, the Central Intelligence Agency and allies, right, started this, and the idea was that they wanted to create anything from assassins that they could give this guy a gun, program him, he shoots somebody, and then doesn't remember anything.
Like Jason Bourne shit.
Kind of thing, yeah.
The Manchurian Candidate.
The Manchurian Candidate was the original phrase.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I thought the reason that the government kind of got into that had something to do with a guy in Hungary testifying. And they said that he looked like he was like a puppet. Like there was no look in his eye or anything like that. And they suspected that the Russians were already using these type of techniques.
Yeah, exactly. That's
it's
what was said.
It's always the race against the Russians.
Oh, so it was a catch-up game.
Yeah.
Well, so they say.
Better get on that.
So they say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Like that's like any justified bad thing that these people have done in the past is, well, the Russians are doing it.
The whataboutism. Well, what about the Russians?
Yeah. There's the missile gap.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we got 10 times more than they ever produced, but there's the missile gap.
Yeah.
So, and this was just a very similar idea. Like it was we heard the Chinese and the Russians got this thing where they could control people, through hypnosis and all this other stuff, turn them into crazy kooks and whatever. Well, we got to do it too because they're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of there you go. That's the Cole's Notes. Like there's way more to it, but for our purposes, that's what we're
basically. It was a program set up to designed to make people.
Started in the early 50s, and from what we can find out, like you're saying before, there with like I guess like acquisitions, like from the pencil pusher, the financials and everything. Is it went to like 74, I think.
Yeah, mid-70s.
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 Yeah.
So it's not around.
Oh, it probably is.
Like it is
one form
not named MK Ultra anymore.
Right. just under a
now it's called the Born
director.
program.
The Born, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah, I don't.
That's right.
You know, like that's the Hollywood part of it.
Yeah.
Right? But why the hell not?
Yeah.
Right.
But it's like it's a mixture of like brainwashing along with hypnosis and
well,
you know,
as I mentioned in the article, I did bring up Monarch. Okay. Allegedly, and the thing is, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, you didn't talk about Monarch." Well, okay. Here's my 2 cents on Monarch. Monarch is what there's people in the conspiracy community allege is the now MK Ultra.
right.
The problem is, it's all based off a book
Yeah.
called Transformation of America.
Okay.
Written by Kathy O'Brien and another fella that apparently helped her escape out of, that program.
Oh, okay.
Right.
She was a victim of the
Apparently.
Okay.
Okay, that's according to this book. No, I've read it. Jury's really still out on that one. You know what I mean? I don't really give it any credence.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like a lot of wishful thinking, and most of the stuff, in my opinion, from what they're espousing, to me is just like, oh, well, you guys are just rehashing all the stuff people have already researched, and you kind of put a spin on it and then said, oh, yeah, we're, the brainwashed sexual assassins or whatever.
So it's not our fault.
Yeah, like it's just some kooky shit.
But
maybe
that's also part of the MK Ultra, operative is to make these people look like they're completely insane and completely discredit them. So what do you do?
And,
so if they are caught,
exactly,
fucking
Yeah, they're
right?
just crazy.
So she might very well be a loon, or she might not.
You know what?
Because that's their whole shtick.
When I was living up in Petawawa, there was a lady going around. She'd be sitting there yelling at cars and stuff like that. I'm wondering now. Fuck. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, just don't let her in the back seat of the car there.
No.
You'd be winding up with a Colombian necktie or something.
Yeah. Well, because apparently, like Yugon sent me this video, which was rather interesting. The assassination of Stephen Fry.
Yeah, it was an experiment. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is with Darren Brown.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, Darren Brown is a professional hypnosis, or he does a bunch of
stage
stuff.
magician.
Yeah, he's he's a stage magician.
Yeah. Well, there'd always been that question: can you hypnotize somebody to make them commit a murder or do something against their will, what they normally do? And he managed to go, and there's a good 40-minute video of it, where he actually goes and manages to select someone, and then over a few months works on hypnotizing this kid and takes him out to the range, fucking gets him shooting and all this good stuff. And of course he's telling him while he's not under the influence of, like, this is the reason we're at the range, just want to see if we can make you shoot better, and see if this could work and stuff like this. And then of course puts him under, and then it's like, okay, here's your target, blah, blah.
Kill Stephen Fry.
Yeah. And all this good shit. Right. And ultimately what ends up happening is there's a presentation with Stephen Fry, and he's talking
at a lecture hall.
Yeah. Lecture hall. And this kid, I say kid, but like he's 20 something odd, ends up pulling out a gun at a certain point and just shoots Stephen Fry. I'm telling you folks, watch the whole thing. Now,
let me get into this.
Yeah, because Nate and I did watch this. And
I like to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, but when I watched this happen, I called bullshit.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason I say that is because, one, you got a guy in a country that has the most laws, I think, against owning a gun and carrying a gun around in public.
UK, yeah.
He is not under hypnosis when he's given this briefcase with a gun in it. He's told it's a gun with 3 bullets and shown it.
Yeah.
And he just like nonchalantly is like, yeah, okay, I'll carry this around the city.
Going back to the video, what he says is,
I
want you to present this to Stephen Fry backstage after. And he told him that it's a replica.
But he's going to carry it through the city. Yeah. Carry it into...
Well, because he's going to meet Stephen Fry, very popular
well, obviously
celebrity.
the guy's dumb to begin with, because I would never do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, fuck you, I'm not taking this gun and getting locked up.
Yeah,
like,
but that's because you took the red pill.
That's right. And why is it
You're
loaded?
Like, fuck that, that's a setup.
But why is it loaded?
Yeah.
Right? Why does it have 3 bullets in it?
Yeah.
Right? And then the other thing is we talked about it, and the first thing that hit me and hit Greg, after the shooting, nobody in the audience did a fucking thing.
Yeah.
This guy stands up in
there was a bit of a
flinch.
flinch.
He stands up in a back balcony, boom,
you
boom,
gotta,
boom.
You got to realize the UK has like 0 gun culture.
Yeah.
You hear gunshots, you don't know what a gunshot is?
I do, but I'm a trained professional.
Too, but I'm not a trained professional. I've never shot a
take a look
times.
where you grew up. You grew up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but come on. You watch movies?
Guns. Yeah, I know, but you know what? In the UK,
you see TV.
People ain't gonna have a clue.
Feel like you guys are all discounting the stiff upper lip that comes with being British.
Yeah, like if you would have got excited, somebody would have slapped you. Literally.
Nobody hits the ground. Nobody makes a screech. Nobody even basically looks. Like I watched the audience.
The other part of it, it's a presentation. People are like, "Oh, this has got to be some theater."
Maybe he was supposed to be assassinated during this presentation.
No, but you know what I mean. No, but they're thinking.
This is excellent.
But they're thinking
well spent.
No, but the reality disconnection is, nobody's gonna have a gun here, right? This is an act. It's like it's a presentation.
Yeah. Well, either way, I think there is some possibility that it might not be fully true, but in a way, I kind of hope it is. But at the same time, I kind of hope it isn't. Nobody wants interesting to see,
but nobody wants to believe that. With some hypnosis and whatever that we could turn little Johnny or little Janie into a fucking assassin.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to believe that.
No. Well,
and why would you? That's the most horrible fucking thing I could think of.
Yeah, and that was the thing. At the beginning of the...
Nobody wants to believe that.
At the beginning of the full-length documentary on it there, Darren Brown there actually went and interviewed a couple professionals that study hypnosis the whole time and asked them, and they're like, yeah, no, man, fucking, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And shit like this. And then, even Mythbusters, they went and tried to do it. But now with Mythbusters, they tried for one fucking day.
Yeah, exactly.
They tried for one day.
It wasn't months of programming and preparation.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it in 5 minutes. Must be not true. It's like, okay, well, and not to disparage Mythbusters, I thought it was a great show. Used to love it.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of special effects guys, and it's a ratings thing, right? Like they're just trying to throw some stuff out there, and
you know what? They've had to cancel some shows because it brought out some truths about some things that didn't want to be let out. Like I forget, there's a couple of them there, like
okay, well, yeah, I'm not
breaking into ATMs and stuff like that. But something like that, anyways.
Oh well, yeah, that'd be just stuff that would be, it'd be disingenuous to actually put that out there.
Yeah.
Increase.
This
crime.
is how you do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
this is how you got on a plane with a bomb. What?
Yeah.
But it's definitely interesting. And if
for sure.
I'm going to go and say, if the video is fully true, then absolutely, because it was just one guy working, doing this one thing.
Yep.
So now you put a government and
the government money.
Yeah, the government money
behind
money. Agencies with everything going on. To do this nonstop, and that's where MK Ultra comes in.
Yep.
And who better to practice on than people that are already following people like Jim Jones?
Yep.
Right. With the People's
Temple.
Temple.
They're already broken in.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. They're already susceptible to suggestion.
Well, and I make it clear, I think government money, government time.
Yeah.
You need that time with people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So why hypnosis? Because you definitely can break a mind.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely get people to do shit they normally would not do in certain situations.
Yeah.
Right? Like hypnosis to me is like, okay, I'm going to hypnotize you and then you're going to do this thing.
And I remember getting hypnotized.
Break you. But it took what? 5 minutes?
Yeah, it took me 5 minutes. And the next thing you know, I was fucking a table on stage.
Right.
I was. It was interesting. And I was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You went to one of those stage magicians?
Oh yeah, it was great. Lots of fun.
The comedy ones, right?
Yeah.
And I get that, but why? I mean, if you have the time, of course you can break a mind.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you can make people do shit, especially people that are disenfranchised, people that
are. Well, and then that was part of the MK Ultra, like with what Andrew's talking about in Canada. Dr. Ewan Cameron, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Cameron.
Cameron. Anyway, because some of his research papers are available online, it's. Scary stuff when you kind of read it with today's lens. You're like, Jesus, what the fuck were they thinking? Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he basically called it like a mind wipe. Essentially, what he was trying to do is wipe people and then rebuild them up again.
Right.
Yeah.
And that takes time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at Antifa.
Okay.
I mean, these are people that are brainwashed to believe a certain thing and burn down buildings. And am I going to get in trouble for saying this?
Well, it might not be true though.
But they're doing things that people normally would not do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're being puppeteered places. on buses and go here and do this and go here and do that.
Well, but it comes down to like any kind of group, though, right? They get into a group think.
The mob mentality.
The mob mentality.
You could say the same thing about the militia that's heading down from out of state to go and protect businesses.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like
any group. Any group. And if they go down there and
Yep.
start blowing heads off, I mean, they're part of that group, that cult,
Yeah.
and they're just being told what to do.
Yeah. But putting the government time and money against it,
Yep.
and then creating programs like MK Ultra.
Or well,
You
like
know.
where you got an entire agency or a project or whatever dedicated with like time and money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
so let's finally make the connection between MK Ultra, and let's start with the Manson family.
Okay.
Because I know you've recently done a bunch of reading to do with Manson. You've made connections with MK Ultra.
Yeah.
And it's actually tying into a bunch of other things as well. So let's get going on that.
Okay, can I give Tom
Yes, please do.
Like, I've always suspected with the Manson thing, and I had some, like, you know, because I wrote the article previous to reading this book, which I friggin' okay, here, I'll hold her up here anyway.
I don't know where you're going to see it.
that.
But
Anyway, Tom O'Neill
yeah.
is the writer, and he's a journalist there that did a really awesome job.
Do you want to just read the title for our audio
book's
audience?
called Chaos, Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 60s, written by Tom O'Neill. Got to say, he helped connect a lot of the dots and confirmed a lot of suspicions I had.
Yeah.
I really wish, before I did the article, that I actually read the book.
Mm-hmm.
But I got an excerpt of him from when he was talking with Joe Rogan there or whatever,
Right.
and then that's when I found out about the book. I'm like, oh, shit, well, I should have probably read it before I did the article. But,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, he's able to tie it all in and actually has the documentary proof.
Yeah.
You know.
So like with the article there, like you're talking about how Manson's parole officer there.
Oh,
Right.
That'd be David Smith, if I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two Smiths, and I think they were related, actually.
Two Smiths, of
Yeah.
course, they're agents.
Yeah. Well,
Smith and Agent Smith.
yeah, I don't know if they're agents necessarily, but it's kind of weird because they're both like psychology doctors.
Right.
Yeah.
And the one was actually somehow became a parole officer,
Right.
which, you know, not to say parole officers don't study psychology, but to have somebody like, you know, sort of full-blown psychologist that's
Not really a step up the
kind
ladder.
of, like to
Yeah.
me, it seems kind of like slopping it out as a parole officer. Like not disparaging parole officers, like, you know, like valuable service, right? But yeah, to me, it seemed a little weird. And then ever since he became Charles's parole officer, there's at least like 7 different occasions where like Charlie should have went to jail, like got the, you know, thrown away the key, like,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, violated parole like countless times, and this guy kept bailing him out.
Right.
Right? Like Charlie kept getting a free pass. Tex Watson there kept getting a free pass. Other members of the inner circle kept getting free passes.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the big connections in San Fran there was the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic. So it was like a free clinic, you know, trial run. Like it was the 60s right there. Americans are expended with social, like, you know, in Canada, you could get a free clinic anywhere you go, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Americans, that's like a big mystery, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Free healthcare. What? Communism.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's socialism.
Socialism. Yeah. But anyway, so the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic. So essentially, like, imagine like a 3-story building. You go in there and it's like a one-stop shop for all the things you might need, right? So, I got to talk to my parole officer. Go to the 2nd floor. Oh, I got VD. Okay, I go to the 3rd floor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it was like a sociological one-stop shop for that area. But the thing is, though, you had like Roger Smith, David Smith. So like you got the parole officers there with tentative connections to MK Ultra, and then the big one was a guy named Lewis Jolly. Like his nickname was Jolly, Lewis West, who was also a very high-profile psychologist. Well, high-profile in the sense if you're an academic.
Right.
Anybody on the street would have no freaking clue who this guy was.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
he's not like, you know, front page news, but if you read the periodicals and the journals, you probably know who he is. Like if you're into that field.
If you're in that life.
If you're into that, if you're in a line of work, you're going to know exactly who he is. Well, anyway, David Smith, after this free clinic got going, is the one that is either David or Roger, I don't recall which, it'd be in the book, but actually got Jolly into that building
Right.
as a psychologist, like, so somebody that they could talk to and everything. But this guy was up to his eyeballs in the whole MK Ultra project.
Wow.
He was also the guy that debriefed the so-called Manchurian candidates, or like the Korean prisoners of war that didn't want to come back, you know, and denounced the U.S. and all this stuff and said, you know, they did all these things. So he's actually the guy that deprogrammed them.
Yeah.
You know, he's also tons of documentation with his name and Sidney Gottlieb, who was like the top dog in the MK Ultra project, the head psychologist. And there's tons of correspondence for them going back and forth, and Jolly's going, oh, well, I pioneered this one technique. It actually works. Like, you know what I mean? There's documentation saying, yeah, we pioneered that part of the technique. My part of the experiment is now complete. Go ahead.
Right.
You know, et cetera. Yeah. And then this is the guy treating the Manson people.
Oh, Jesus.
Right.
Right.
So you got MK Ultra.
Yep.
Deep in it, hanging out with Charlie.
Yep.
You know, as he comes in to see his parole officer and, you know, check to see which VD he has now.
And the inner circle's getting free medical care, and then, you know, a little bit of MK Ultra on the side there, and, you know.
A little LSD.
A little bit of LSD, there.
and, Wow.
Now, you and I had actually had a discussion about this over the phone there a little while ago. And while apparently we definitely both agree, or it's been noted that Manson definitely was an MK Ultra participant.
Apparently he was. Yeah, while he was in prison. Okay, so now we got to kind of take your imagination back to, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the early 50s, when Charlie was in the clink there, like full-time criminal.
Yeah.
The MK Ultra, essentially, when they started off in the prison system. Right? Because, again, they're going after vulnerable people. Like, what are you going to do, right? Well, I'll tell you what, Joe, you get 2 extra puddings if you take this little friggin'...
They would trade them their drugs of preference.
Right.
Like, if you were a heroin addict, they'd say, if you do this for us, we'll give you your heroin, or we'll take time off of your sentence, or we'll do this for you, we'll do that for you.
Right. Whatever sucks them into it.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep. And then, then do all these horrible experiments on them, you know, under the guise of, we got to do it because the communists are doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that's who they'd go after, is these people in the prisons.
So Charlie got locked into that.
It got locked into that, yeah.
Whitey Bulger.
Whitey Bulger, yeah.
He wanted to go and kill the guy who was responsible for it.
Yeah.
He had plans to go out and find this guy who's responsible for it. Because I guess he was never right after that.
Well, no.
Not that he was right to begin with, but it was like a whole other level.
Well, and then exactly. And then before that, like Whitey Bulger, just for anybody that doesn't know, it was Boston, I think. He was.
I think so. Yeah.
He was a famous crime boss.
Irish,
like Irish mafia there.
Yeah.
But like this is a guy that went on the lam for like 18 years. Like he was number 2, right behind Osama bin Laden on the FBI's most wanted. Yeah, he's the most famous name you never heard of.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway, like Andrew was saying there, like because they were giving him the MK Ultra treatment there in prison. He was never right after. Like, granted, you know, the guy was a career criminal, but he wasn't like a career murderer.
Right.
And it wasn't until after these experiments that, you know, that he racked up, like, 19 deaths or kills.
Right.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah, so after this program, kind of went a little serial killer. Like, if you want to go with the definition of serial killers, I guess, but...
Yeah.
You know.
Now, is there, like, an idea of the numbers of people they did this to in the prisons? Like, was it a huge population, just a few?
I don't think it was, like, a blanket, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, like, I'm
like,
just
it wasn't,
wondering...
like... Number 386 in this prison. No, like it was more like, you know, probably a dozen each prison.
Right.
Because the whole idea was that they weren't trying to be public. It was
keep it quiet.
Keep it quiet. Keep it minuscule. Right.
Yeah.
So they got him all geared up, and then got him out.
Yeah.
And let him do his thing, and then let him keep getting away with shit.
Well, when he was on the. Well, Whitey was actually a pretty smart guy. Like he actually.
No, Manson. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Manson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
so
we were talking about how they kept getting him out, getting him out. Right?
Well, yeah. There was a judge from what Tom O'Neill was saying that he had a judge take a look at because he got through Freedom of Information requests got all of Manson's parole records. And he had a judge that was active at that time who was also a district attorney. So he knew, you know, from that 60s, 70s, whatever time frame. He knew how the process worked at that time.
Right.
So he had him look at all the parole records. And I guess the judge was like, oh, this is chicken shit. Oh, this is chicken shit. This is fucking bullshit. You know, like this guy should have been locked up like after page 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Not 7, 8, 9, 10, you know.
Right.
And he said, so the only reason he kept getting out, from what the judge said, was because somebody wanted him out.
Right.
He didn't say who, because he doesn't know. He's like, it's got to be somebody in the government kind of thing, or somebody
with power,
with influence or power said, keep this guy out, keep him on the street.
Right, because they wanted to see what he would do with all this shit.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to somebody like Manson, if that's the case, if the CIA and MK Ultra is behind it, then that would be what it is he's just a wild card, and let's see what he does.
Yeah,
right.
Because he's not like a Jim Jones who's more of an organized thinker or whatever. The guy's chaos.
Yeah.
So it was like let's see what he'll do.
Now, are you dark enough to think that they knew what the ending of that was going to be?
No.
That tale?
No, because it's an experiment. No, but it's an experiment. These people were scientists.
But what percentage do you think they thought this is going to end badly, like murder?
No, that'd be complete speculation. You can't. You got to remember these people.
I can.
Well, okay. Well, then you could tell me after. But I just want to put a caveat out there that okay, like sure, like they took a lot of this from Nazis and because of the communists and all that, through paperclip and all the other craziness. Because the Nazis were experimenting with this kind of thing too. Yeah. Like that is part of the filter that came into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all from Operation Paperclip.
Yeah, a lot of it. Yeah. But the thing is, though, even though they're evil, right? They're evil fucking scientists. There's no other way to you know, anybody that's willing to do human experimentation, like to that degree, you're a goddamn psychopath or you're evil or you just don't care. Yeah, right? There's something broken there.
But you can put that caveat. But then what's the end game?
But okay, well, hear me out though. Okay, just let me kind of throw it out there. But you got to remember though, at the end of the day, they are still scientists.
You're right.
And the scientific method is okay. Here's our hypothesis, which I think you're getting into there.
Yes.
But then okay, here's our controls. Here's our whatever. Here's what we're gonna do, and then the cut loose part to see what happens. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the hypothesis is, will this guy turn into a nut job or will he lead these other people? Or, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what their hypothesis was. Other than the original directive for MK Ultra to say, we're going to make like spies basically that can forget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But now here it is. You got Jolly West there.
Yeah.
That guy there. He's hanging out in the one building with Manson's parole officer.
Yep. Who actually brought him in there. Yeah.
And all this good stuff.
Yeah.
So they're both highly linked to MK Ultra.
Yep.
Then you have Manson, who's been experimented on by MK Ultra and stuff like this. Mm-hmm. And then when we were talking briefly, the fact that maybe Manson was a successful success.
So that's kind of where you and I were kind of thinking, well, maybe he's a star pupil, as it were. He becomes middle management now.
Yeah, because now he's bringing in everybody else to, here, come join the program with me. It's fucking lovely. So as they're going in to get their VD shots, fucking here you go. Here's some MK Ultra treatment as well.
It would definitely fit the profile for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I think.
Especially with how shit is going on. Then, because just the way those murders went down, hey, go kill those people over there. Oh, fuck. Okay, I guess so. Why not?
Yeah, Charlie said do it.
What the fuck? Seriously. Like, there's some issues.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
My argument would be that the murders ultimately happened because Charles Manson lost control of the cult.
Right.
He had to continuously get like an Alex Jones. It just had to get crazier and
had to get more intense and
right.
And there's reason to believe that it was probably Tex Watson who was more pushing for a lot of this, and Manson to exert and keep that control.
Right.
Gave the go ahead.
So you're saying like you don't think Manson had really anything to do with setting up the murders?
Not really. I think that at some point he just had to maintain that control before it was taken from him by Tex Watson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So then it wasn't necessarily an MK Ultra hit.
No, I don't
so to speak.
I don't like I was saying, I think he was a wild card. I think it was just a matter of if they had anything to do with it, which I'm not sure that they do. But I think it would have been a matter of let's just see where this goes.
Right.
Let's see.
Well,
where
it's
it
an
goes.
experiment.
Well, that's it, and that's what I mean. Like, I'm not saying I think it was MK Ultra who said, let's work this towards killing these people.
No, I don't think.
But I'm wondering what percentage was put on the table of this could go to this level. Like what we've done to this person,
what was
and where
discussed
this group is going,
whatever. Yeah,
that's, this could end in murder.
That's a $64,000 question,
right?
Or whether they were hoping.
If you're putting a percentage on that, and it's still allowing it to happen.
But now, that's where we kind of get into Operation Chaos and Operation COINTELPRO.
Okay,
like going back to the magic, going into their time machine.
Yeah,
back to the '60s is Operation Chaos and COINTELPRO. The COINTELPRO was the FBI aspect of it, and Chaos was the domestic spying operation from the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The whole idea behind both of those programs was to co-opt, counter, and discredit all of the youth movements at the time, all the peace movements, all the anti-nuclear groups, all the anti-Vietnam groups,
all the hippies,
and all the hippies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So probably where the Charles Manson thing comes in, where maybe what you're asking about, well, maybe they wanted it to go that way. It wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
Because that was the whole key behind that. Between those two operations was completely discredit the whole hippie thing and all those different various movements at the time. Right? Same thing with the Jim Jones thing, right? They're doing integration and people are coming together, right? Well, let's co-opt that.
Yeah.
And, look, this is what happens when everybody gets together and they're all friendly.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't everybody go to the same church and hang out and be nice to each other, because you're going to wind up dead, and just like those people in Guyana.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ultimately, though, with Manson and links to the MK Ultra,
and Operation Chaos, and COINTELPRO.
So the government had hands in it big time.
Well, there was also people involved with Manson. For instance, like I think the guys that were one of the guys that was essentially selling them drugs all the time.
Yeah.
Worked for another guy, and I'm sorry I don't recall his name at this immediate moment, but that particular fella though was former OSS, like that's like the precursor to the CIA.
Yeah.
Right, and that was his handler. So the guy selling drugs to Manson, his handler was an intelligence guy.
Jesus Christ.
Right, and then where it gets I'm going to dig a little deeper, is this particular guy was semi-famous in the intelligence community as a guy that could get stuff done. And you'll see a connection to, it says military intelligence service. Again, I know that's just going to sound like gobbledygook to most people.
Yeah, because military intelligence, never mind.
Service, like, you know what I mean? It sounds very generic, and I guess that was very deliberate. Was a separate group of, basically military intelligence, but they were kind of like a compartmentalization. So they weren't CIA, they weren't FBI, they weren't whatever. They were just a specific group now. But when you actually look into this group, though, they started off as translators in World War II with the Japanese and whatever. So they would hire like native people of Japanese background, native German background, wherever they needed operatives.
Mm-hmm.
And they would act more so of an intelligence gathering unit. So they weren't necessarily like the OSS where they're in the Jedburghs and stuff where they're jumping behind enemy lines and slitting throats and stuff. These guys were more the thinkers and stuff like this. So anyway, going back to the people that were selling drugs to Manson and his family and everything, as well as like the Sharon Tate crowd and all that. Like essentially her house was like a drug house, basically. It was a flop house for the rich people, and that's where everybody basically went to go get high and have orgies and big parties and whatever, right?
Right.
Sounds like a great
the whole
place.
Reason to join a cult, really.
And then that's kind of what that's kind of what tied the Manson thing in, and then the tire between the two, if you drag it in even further, is the guy that was selling them drugs is actually an intelligence operative.
Right.
And him himself is not really too well known. Like the author did interview him. Like this guy's in an old age home on a walker. Dying, and he kind of let some things out, but then kind of said, well, if you say anything, I'll kill you. Like, okay, what are you gonna do? Grandpa hit me with your fucking chair? Like, you can't even pick up your own dick, let alone a fucking chair, right? What are you gonna do, right?
Next thing you know, he throws the fucking walker, turns into like Jackie Chan. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly, right? But anyway, this guy's letting some information come out. And he let his name of his handler out, and that handler is actually kind of well known in the intelligence circles with the OSS and like feats and things done through World War II and the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so there's even more characters coming into the mix here too.
Right, and which makes sense because you're going to keep the drugs separate.
Yeah.
Like he's going to somebody to
yeah,
get
it's
his
the
drugs.
one
We're
guy's not going to be
giving him
a one
drugs.
stop. Yeah, they're not going to hand him all the free drugs in the
right.
clinic,
They're not going to
right?
get caught handing LSD or whatever over to him to say, go do this.
Yeah.
You know, get it off the streets. Off
Yeah.
this
Well,
guy.
and then when you get into the LAPD too, the LAPD and I think New York City Police, NYPD, at the time were the only two police services that actually had a desk for the CIA. Like the CIA had a desk in their police department.
Wow.
You know, keeping tabs on shit, fucking.
Well,
or whatever, or just needed room.
Well, the cover story, and it is a very plausible cover story.
Yeah,
is those are port cities, possible infiltration points from enemy agents, right?
Yeah,
yeah. That makes
because
sense.
if I was the KGB, or the Chinese service or whatever, I'd want to be spying on the naval bases and the big ports of entry for sure. Right.
Yeah.
So they do have a plausible cover.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's sort of we were just there for making sure the Chinese and the communists stayed out of the ports, right?
Right.
And
it's like, well, then why are you meeting with drug dealers and
yeah,
why are you mixing it up with Charlie? Yeah. Ignore that part.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
okay, so either way, bottom line, Manson, MK Ultra participant.
Yeah.
Dealing a lot with the different governments and the different agencies, government agencies.
Yeah.
And, just his parole officer, and that whole building alone, with like one of the top guys in MK Ultra fucking hanging out there going, oh, hey guys, what's going on? Fuck off.
Yeah.
No
connection though. No connection.
Yeah, no connection. So we'll let you guys figure that one out for yourselves.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the People's Temple there. Because that's some fucked up shit that's going on there. And we already talked a lot about how Jim Jones managed to go and get these people in, and like listening to the death tapes, right? Like I'm sitting there going, motherfucker, this dude's crazy. And if I just shown up that day, I would have been gone, like fuck this, not happening.
Well,
and I also understand though, over time, you get used to doing a certain thing, following certain things, believing in somebody and shit like this. You're going to tend to do a little bit more. Like I remember being in basic training and like by the end of basic training, I was ready to dig my heart out with a spoon if my master corporal wanted it, going, here you go, fucking, whatever the case may be. But there's some more sketchy shit. And the one thing that I really want to kind of point to is in the death tapes, he goes and says, get Dwyer out of here. And this is the one person that is never mentioned in the documentary, and it's almost impossible to find out.
In most of the documentaries. There's a one or two.
In the Paradise Lost.
In the Paradise Lost.
Yes.
Yeah, which is like, like sort of the public one. Like, most people that even with passing knowledge of Jim Jones understand that one.
Yeah.
Richard Dwyer was Assistant Chief of Station Guyana.
Yeah.
Which, like just to kind of break that down, simplify, is the U.S. Embassy there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, most times, if you got somebody that's deputy chief of station, usually that means that's who the CIA guy is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? That's the CIA attaché or representative for American interests in that area.
Yeah.
Right? Because the head guy is going to be, the ambassador. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Because the ambassador notionally runs the station.
But was he that day? When they said get him out of here before they drank the Kool-Aid.
He got shot in the ass
at the airstrip. No, I know, but was that his kind of first time there?
No, hell no.
Okay, so there is records of him being there multiple times.
Yes.
Okay, so explain those to us.
Basically, it was under the auspices to check into things, and then he's never actually came out on record to fully explain why he was there.
So not for a good reason.
Well,
because if it was for a good reason, he would say,
there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And then there's other people too that were actually part of the family, as it were, or the People's Temple inner circle. That you look into their backgrounds and you're like for instance, I can't recall the name of the one family there, but the patriarch of the family, the father, and him and his kids. He wasn't there. But his kids were all there, and they were part of the inner circle. They all survived. Not a single one of them got killed.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and you start looking into his background, turns out he was a chemist for MK Ultra.
Jesus.
The Dwyer guy.
No, no. It was one of the actual other families that were the early families to join the temple. So there's
the guy cooking the Kool-Aid was
it was his son that I don't recall the guy's name. I don't know, maybe the guy that did the shooting. Anyway, the guy that did the shooting Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
At the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And him and his sister were there. They were part of the Joneses' inner circle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, their old man was like there with the Manhattan Project as a chemist. And Lindsay, I think is his name. I had it on the article if you flip to that. Anyway, his name's like James Lindsay, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lindsay.
So
Lindsay.
he was
anyway,
already part of this before.
Yeah, he was already up to his eyeballs in the
So he could have
secret
been
squirrel
that
crap.
person put in there to say, "Hey,
Well,
this group moving in this direction."
It could be, yeah, but we don't know because it was, oh, we lost the thing, or we. So, but that's besides Richard Dwyer. So
Right.
Dwyer, yeah, that'd be him right there.
Larry Layton.
Layton?
Was
okay.
it? Yeah.
Layton? Yeah, Layton. Okay, sorry, Layton, not Lindsay. It was Layton. But anyway, yeah. So, you look at this guy's CV there. Yeah, he's up to his eyeballs in secret projects and everything else.
Right.
As a chemist.
Right.
During MK Ultra.
Jesus Christ.
So.
But here's the thing with that one. Like, just really quick question: if it was a government project, this whole thing, this one, why would this congressman,
Leo Ryan,
right, be allowed to go?
Because he's a congressman, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
But wouldn't somebody say to him in the government in the upper echelon, no, you're not going there?
I do believe, if I recall correctly, there was a couple of his friends that warned him, don't go there.
Okay. So, but I mean, like being
and
told
then,
directly,
there was like the
no,
2
you're
o'clock
not
in the
fucking
morning
going
phone
there.
call saying, don't go there, Ryan, blah, 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 and he's like, okay, yeah. Because but he was kind of an activist congressman.
Yeah.
Like he looked into stuff and you couldn't stop the guy. The guy was a pit bull.
Right.
You'd be like, oh,
So
you're
he
telling
said-
me not?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do it just to spite you now.
Yeah. Well, then again, I look at it this way as well: is if you're like, listen, I'm going to go down, check out Jonestown, find out what the fuck's going on, and all of a sudden somebody comes up and says, no, don't go down there. Really?
Yeah, because Ryan was that guy that you don't tell him that because he's going to go down, do it deliberately just to spite you.
Yeah.
But he was a very activist congressman, right? Like he was very like pro civil rights and everything else. You look at his complete record. He was essentially a pain in the ass for the establishment, as it were, of the time.
Or the government people involved, the CIA or whatever, decided it's almost at its end. This will push it over the edge.
Yeah. And he just asked inconvenient questions.
Yeah.
Right?
So do you think that okay, is there the connection with other than I'm got all my fucking red strings all fucking mixed up again. Fucking
yeah, it's all good.
Okay. Yeah. So is really the only connection between MK Ultra and Jim Jones, People's Temple, really the one kid, the son there who was the
like
chemist.
his family? No.
Yeah.
There was the clinic, Modestino, I don't know. It's in California.
Okay.
Medino, something like that. But anyway, the clinic / mental hospital, a whole bunch of the friggin' Jones the People's Temple actually worked there as volunteers, and it's actually on the list of different hospitals that the MK Ultra, like, proven that MK Ultra ran out of that one hospital. Like MK Ultra was like like I said, it's a big organization.
Yeah.
Lots of different hospitals, different countries, universities, like the Raven friggin' Loft, friggin', Ravencroft there, like, you know what I mean? Just crazy ass shit, right? Like, it sounds like a friggin' horror movie, right? But yeah. So anyway, a whole bunch of the people from Jim Jones's group worked at one of the mental hospitals that was running MK Ultra. So yeah, there's more connections when you get into it. Jim Jones was also very large into politics at the time in San Francisco. Like we were saying before, he did start off well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well-meaning and everything, right? And then because his temple got so big, local politicians were also going to Jim and saying, hey, we want you to run flyers. Like, he was very actively involved in San Francisco politics and California politics overall too.
Yeah.
Right.
So what pushed him into the drugs?
Don't know. I don't.
Because that kind of came out after they went to Ghana that he was always gone.
Yeah, but
like
I almost kind of looked at him almost as like a weird evil Elvis kind of figure.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know what I mean?
He's
Like,
very creepy looking.
Roy
Like,
Orbison.
yeah, like
Yes.
he had that that Elvis Roy Orbison thing going on with the dark glasses, and
Yeah.
I think just
always wore his glasses. No
well,
matter
it wouldn't
what.
surprise me if he was doing a couple of bumps right before every show when he was out.
Yeah.
Because you see him in there and he's like, just dancer, like he made Richard Simmons look like a friggin' slouch.
Yeah.
You know, he's out running there. I'll heal you right now. Boom. You know, like he was running a marathon around that church all the time, right? So
doing all the fake healings. And,
all the crazy stuff, right? You know, so it wouldn't surprise me he's doing a couple of bumps. You know,
it was the 70s. Everybody was either coming down off acid or doing cocaine.
Yeah. Or like one of my teachers said, remember Miss Mouse? Shout out to Miss Mouse. Yeah, but anyway, like she
hi,
hi, wherever you
Miss
are.
Mouse.
Yeah, but anyway, she was always said, you know, the problem with the '60s was, she said, everybody believed LSD was the solution to everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like, kind of going back to what you're saying there. Yeah. Like it was,
same with Coke. Everybody did.
It's pretty
Coke.
rampant. Well, more the later 70s. Well, actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
No, it was in everything.
Yeah, they called
people.
it. Well, what they used to call it, American marching powder.
Yeah. It kept them going, right?
It was the old that was the old like from the 20s and
yeah,
it was actually really prevalent in World War One.
Yep.
A lot of people are doing it.
Now it's weed. Weed's gonna save the world.
Yeah, actually, probably will.
Maybe.
Yeah, everybody just mellow the fuck out.
Calm the fuck down.
Okay, so what's that? I'm trying to wrap my head around a couple things. So the people in the People's Temple that worked at the hospital there, now these were in his inner circle, or
like they're like they were the influential people and whatever. You know, I'm sure there was a couple of the drones and the worker bees too, right?
So now, do you think that? Okay, so that's all MK Ultra.
Hey, let me know when you got it, because I'm gonna hurt your head a little once you got it.
Oh, my head's already fucked, dude. My head is fucked up right now.
I have a tentative link between Charlie and Jim. You want to hear it?
Okay, yes. Let's go with that so I can stop thinking about what I'm thinking about, because it just hurts too much.
Were they in jail together?
No.
Bunkies?
No.
buddy.
But Charles, okay, well, we'll jump on that real quick, and then we'll go to this other one.
I just thought maybe they're lovers in prison.
No, that'd be an interesting story, but no.
Okay.
Okay, going back to Charlie. Charlie learned, he became theta clear, apparently, the big garbly-gook word for like the top dog and like I'm a level 30 wizard, in Scientology or whatever.
Yeah,
go ahead, try to sue me, I got nothing, so whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
apparently he got security clearance for the Church of Scientology while he's in jail.
Yeah, while he's
under
in jail.
MK Ultra fucking.
Well, we don't know about the MK Ultra part of that, but
okay.
But yeah, he got theta clear from one of the.
Hey Tom, how you doing? Fucking just saying.
Yeah, from one of the guys in prison that was a Scientology guy that was in the clink with Charlie, and he became theta clear, which I guess is like the
he gets
level.
his own planet.
Yeah, he gets his own planet or whatever the
fucking sweet,
whatever fucking crap they're offering, right? But anyway, so he was like like the head level of Scientology there. Yeah.
Well, there's where my next email goes, is to fucking Tom Cruise, get him in here to fucking explain this.
Yeah.
But the People's Temple connection to Charles Manson. Now, Charles Manson, when he first got out, I guess he fell in with some minister or a preacher or something like that, and his family, and they kind of, I don't know why the hell they took him in, but they did. And apparently, while he's raping their 14-year-old daughter, kind of chased the mother out of the situation, and the father starts working for Charlie. That daughter, when she ran away, joined the People's Temple. Fact. Drop the mic.
God, it's all like intertwined. The whole thing.
Yeah. So you got the government.
That's not a conspiracy. That's actually like records.
Government, MK Ultra.
No, whether Charlie
People's
said
Temple,
go to the
and
People's
Manson
Temple or not,
family,
I don't know.
They're all
together.
related.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like she just went from bad to worse, or probably worse to not so bad, I guess, at the time.
Sometimes a coincidence is just a coincidence, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that's a tight coincidence there. That's that's wow.
Like Ange said, it's probably just coincidence, but I thought, just to throw that out there,
There have been women who have escaped serial killers just to be killed by another serial killer.
Yeah, true enough.
So sometimes a coincidence.
Apparently they had it coming. No, I am not fucking perpetuating violence towards women. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
So anyway, that's just an interesting little tidbit there. But so you got Charles Manson linked with like MK Ultra, Scientology for your thing, another group called the Process Church.
Yeah.
Very tentatively Scientology.
Okay.
Sorry, not tentatively. So between really tentative, like really weak link to the People's Temple or the People's, People's Temple. Like I said, though, that could be a coincidence. So
Okay, so
it's an interesting footnote.
Here's my question: we have people dealing with MK Ultra and Manson family, fucking Manson himself, fucking MK Ultra. Now you got People's Temple, more MK Ultra shit.
Yep.
Do you think that they were working on Jim Jones as the participant of MK Ultra, or were they using Jim Jones to
I think
have his followers start to be part of MK Ultra?
Okay, I want to go back to something.
Am I just fucking going down
I
a wrong rabbit hole here?
Well, I kind of want to go back to something Ange mentioned there because I thought it was like actually very poignant.
Yeah.
$5 word. There you go.
Yeah.
It was like when she said, with a few of these cults there, you notice that as soon as things kind of go bad or they kind of start going apocalyptic in their preaching and their sermons and stuff, that's when things start going bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Like all of a sudden, white freaking alert or helter skelter or come the nuclear war is coming, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You see all these little things, so that kind of ties back to like with what you're talking about. Like I think as soon as they kind of start going that apocalyptic route, and then you ask what's a cult? Well, I think that's kind of the final boss of a cult, or the final transformation is they start getting apocalyptic, and you've seen that at Waco,
yes,
right? And all sorts of other cults there too.
Yeah,
Solar Temple, all the rest of them. All of a sudden, as soon as that apocalypse part comes in, so that's something I know we should have probably brought up, and I didn't think of it till after you mentioned it there. But
right.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense because when you think cult, you think murder and killing each other, like mass suicide.
Yeah,
all that
shit.
Film because I'm going to grab onto some star that's going to go across my sky. And,
yeah.
So as soon as they start going apocalyptic, right? The end times, the year 2000, like some kind of end point.
Right.
The what's the other one where they beam up to outer space or whatever?
Oh, not Shinrikyo.
Holy fuck, that's a big word.
They're a good one. If you want to look into cults, look into Shinrikyo. It's
crazy stuff.
It's insane.
Ascension, right? That's what they all call it. The Ascension.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Like with the Heaven's Gate people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Another one.
Yeah. Perfect. Fantastic.
Yeah. Another one. Yeah.
Okay. So, but going back to my question though, was Jim Jones the participant of MK Ultra? Where was Jim Jones helping to lead all his followers in an MK Ultra project, or
I think
is it just something completely different?
I think either. Well, I got two answers to that.
Okay.
He was a control freak.
Yes.
For one, so he had to have known what was going on.
Yeah.
Now, either A, willing to participate, or B, kind of the back seat, letting them do what they want. He didn't give a shit because the money's rolling in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or and manipulated into
or he got manipulated into it. Yeah. They went, okay, well, here's a guy we could kind of,
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's why I'm wondering when you entered that one family in the beginning, that was already part of.
Well, that's the
like,
thing.
Were they the ones going in to infiltrate
and that's where you get
start moving them this way?
Exactly, and that's where I was kind of getting with going back to Operation Chaos, COINTELPRO, is the whole idea was infiltrate, co-opt, control, and then the whole idea being let's discredit these cults, let's discredit all these, anything alternative to 2.5 kids in a freaking car in the driveway and white picket fence. Anything alternative to that, we need to destroy it.
Right.
Communism.
Right.
So fucking interesting.
So
yeah, because
so kind of going back to what you guys are saying, maybe to kind of get off the fence on it.
Yeah,
I think it was co-opted. I don't think Jim Jones initially started off that way.
Yeah,
because really you didn't.
Well, because as we've all said, you started off really good.
You didn't see anything bad other than the selling the monkeys business. Like that was kind of.
I don't know. I think that's fucking cool.
That's weird.
He was always like a super preachy guy. Even as a kid, that's what he did. So it was no surprise that he became a minister, right? Like I don't think it was something that he was a path he was put down.
Yeah,
I think it was a path he was always on. And then maybe got manipulated or co-opted, or maybe he was just a terrible, terrible person.
Yeah.
I think all the above.
All the above, yeah.
I'm going to go door to door this week.
Yeah.
And
see if they want to buy.
If I can actually sell a monkey.
Can I sell you my monkey?
I want to see if it's possible to sell a fucking monkey going door to door.
They have pictures of him with like live monkeys.
It's the 50s, you know?
Yes.
No, but that was the big door to door. That was the heyday of door to door.
Yeah. Sell everything apparently.
Yeah.
Well,
Rubber
encyclopedias. Yeah,
what about rubber
Britannica.
nipples?
Okay.
Rubber. Yeah. Well,
Rubber
why
nipple
not?
sales? No, sir. I have enough. Thank you.
Yeah. Up to my eyeballs and nipples.
Yeah. Okay. So, but with People's Temple, you got Dwyer, who's the deputy station chief, or is the station chief?
No, deputy
Station chief.
Yeah, the ambassador would be.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So then he's CIA. He's mixed up with MK Ultra as well, and he keeps going checking in. And then Jim Jones says, "Get fucking Dwyer out of here." And miraculously, Dwyer just gets shot in the ass one time and fucking managed to escape the complete ambush that killed everybody else.
Yeah, like apparently pulled the dead body of one of the reporters over him, and I'm almost kind of wondering, like, okay, everybody got killed. Okay, Dwyer, we got to make a look at. Yeah, just get me in the cheek there, would you? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay.
Yeah.
Quick, put the body over you.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes
so
sense.
Either way, we still got CIA, other agencies, MK Ultra, and Manson as well.
Yeah.
Fucking People's Temple. But now jumping into the Moonies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I honestly I don't want to take too much more time with this because there's a couple other things that I want to get to. But you got the Moonies, who we've already discussed was
KCIA started them up, anti-communism.
Yeah, but here they are. You have the Unification Church, which is the Moonies.
Yeah.
Right. And
let's like maybe something for the listeners there. The reason why they call them Moonies is because of Reverend Sun Myung Moon there or whatever.
Yeah.
Sun Myung Moon, Kim Jong Il's cousin. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, his last name's Moon, so everybody called him the Moonies,
Moonies.
right? Because he's the
Makes
supreme
sense.
leader, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But in your article here, like it very like we mentioned it before, the shit that they fucking own and the shit that they operate is unbelievable. Like, did you get a chance to see the list at all?
Yeah, like I've seen. Yeah,
corporations and businesses that they own.
all that stuff. Yeah,
it's absolutely unbelievable. But
if you want a job, join the Moonies. Like, they'll
actually, pretty much join anywhere because the Moonies own it.
Yeah,
But at the same time, they are still technically operated by the government. Or something?
No.
Okay.
We can't say that. If you want to say allegedly.
Yeah. Okay. Allegedly. Yeah. Allegedly, because they were formed by the KCIA.
Yes.
Brought over to North America by the CIA.
Yeah.
To once again still help destroy communism.
Apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently. That's the cover story.
But through what means? I'm kind of. That's where I'm kind of lost.
But
hey, y'all come over here, praise Jesus, we'll forget about communism.
But there's no like one shot magic pill.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no silver bullet. You need like this group, this group, this group, this group, this going on, this going on, this going on.
If this doesn't appeal to you, then maybe this will appeal to you.
Exactly.
Like a buffet.
Right.
Exactly.
Perfect.
That's right.
A buffet of brainwashing.
What do you prefer?
Try the Jello salad.
I'll take the LSD and the young women, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying
You'll find that in the coleslaw. What about the lasagna? Tastes great.
Okay, 1 second. Sorry, I'm just trying to get to some of the.
Oh, there's a political front. Yeah, that's the thing, man.
Yeah, there's a big list.
100 fucking things there, man. Like, it's ridiculous.
And that's the thing. There's so many in here that I'm like,
throw one or two out there, just random.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Fuck, where to go?
You want me to do their?
Okay, let's go to the media fronts.
The big one that most people would probably know. The New York Times, I believe.
Global Affairs, Harlem Weekly, Insight Magazine, Manhattan Magazine. Shit, where's that other one there? It's going to. Oh wait, I gotta go to the W's. There we go. The Washington Times.
Yep, Washington Times.
They own the Washington Times. So this massive cult owns the Washington Times.
But not the Harlem Weekly.
But it does.
Tell me no.
No, it's true.
Say it ain't so, Joe.
It's my favorite one.
The New York Tribune, which is no longer published, but folks, I'm telling you, go to evilvonscary.com, look up the article, and look up all these fronts that.
Oh, another big one to bring up. I don't remember if it was the Moonies or the Scientologists, but okay, they actually have an anti-cult website, and they're owned by the damn cult.
Yeah. But how to stay out of a cult?
And if you're trying to escape,
that sounds like a Scientology.
Yeah, I think that's
thing.
a Scientologist that did
sound-
that.
really
Yeah,
sounds
what
like
a bunch of pricks. Eh?
Scientology.
Are you trying to escape a cult? Call 1-800 whatever.
Come join ours.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, like, fuck, the pages just keep going and going about what they own,
Yeah.
and
Well, yeah,
it's,
they you know, the only other cult that's got probably more property
You know.
than these guys is the Catholic Church.
yeah, and like there's some Asian links, we'll say.
Sorry to the Catholics there. But,
You know, but then there's some stuff that you'd be like, what? These people own this? And the interesting part is they just bought the patent
for AR-15.
the AR-15.
Yeah.
The Moonies just bought. So the Unification Church, big cult, the Moonies, just bought the patent to the AR-15.
Yeah.
So much for Peace Pop Microdot, eh?
Yeah.
You know, shit,
Yeah.
like,
Exactly. Yeah.
Look into it, folks. Like, it's all kinds of fucked up. One other connection that I want to make before we fucking kind of put this to bed, because honestly, my head needs to go to bed because
Yeah, we're at like the 2 hour again.
yeah, we are, but
Every time we have you here.
yeah, but it's so much information, and my
It's a lot.
head's gonna explode.
You guys have to learn how to drink from the fire hose.
I
man.
guess. So.
Yeah. But let's go back to Jolly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to Jolly, because this is something that you happened to go and spring on me when I was on the phone. I think I was just about to get off the phone with you. The wife had just come home, and you're like, "Oh wait, before I let you go, by the way, this." And I'm okay. Bye.
Yeah,
click.
so-
I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, Lewis Jolly West. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay,
Lewis Jolly West, who was one of the top guys, we've already talked about him in this episode.
MK Ultra
Yep,
scientist.
MK Ultra, hanging out with Manson's parole officer when Manson would show up, and all this good stuff. Just happens to be the psychologist of who?
Oh yeah, friggin' Jack Ruby.
Jack Ruby.
Yeah, I know. What?
So-
I know you can't make this shit up, eh? Like you just like. I know when I heard that I was like, "Holy fuck, Greg! You're not gonna fucking believe this!" You know, like yeah.
it was
Jesus.
like. Okay, so there's one for the whole JFK thing. We're gonna have to get into that at some point in time.
Yeah, I think
hopefully your one buddy there
he
that
does get into that in the book. Tom O'Neill does.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten through that part because I've been trying to cross-reference everything he's gotten here because he's like I was like, wow, holy shit.
yeah.
Like I suspected that, but this guy's got the document for it. Holy
So
crap.
for those that aren't making the connection, that have already gone and been like, what we're still lost here. Okay, Jack Ruby, in case you all forgot, is the guy that killed Oswald. Oswald's the guy that killed JFK.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Touche.
All right.
Sir.
So there we go. And now you have Mr. MK Ultra hanging with the Mansons, fucking as the psychologist for Jack fucking Ruby.
Yeah, the guy that shot Oswald.
MK Ultra guy, Jack Ruby. I need to get your buddy there that gave you that phone call. That's all about fucking
Ted Rubenstein. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, Ted, if you're
very
actually listening to
knowledgeable
this
fellow.
one here, we can't fly you up here because we just ain't got the money. But we'd love to do like a Zoom call with you because apparently you're Mr. JFK, and I want to hear more about this and see what you have to say about Jack Ruby
and,
hanging out with
psychologist.
MK Ultra. Fucking
Now to be fair, Ted's more into the mafia stuff, but he knows a hell of a lot more than I do about JFK.
Yeah.
Like he's very knowledgeable fellow.
Oh, the mafia would be a good talk too. Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Well, then you should talk to Ted about the mafia. Like he's right into researching that. Yeah.
As much as I hate fucking Zoom calls and shit like this, I would do it for this. It sounds fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyways, and Jay, thanks so much for coming in again.
Just really quickly, like if he pays for his ticket for the plane here, he can crash on my couch.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with that. It's fine.
I got a kid or two I can kick out of their bed. He can stay in there.
Yeah,
But, but yeah, thanks so much for coming out yet again. You know, we're having you back again at some other point there. My head's got to go to sleep because fucking it just hurts so much right now. It really does. Folks, go to evilvonscary.com.
Yeah.
Go there. Read this
we're
article.
also on Facebook there too, and that's where you see like Ange and I, jumping all over
our
stuff.
Fun back and forth.
Yeah, fun back and forth. Her calling me a crazy fool, and
and you just put in Evil Von Scary. That's it.
Yeah, put in Evil Von
everything?
Scary on Facebook there, and then you'll find it.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, guys, go there. Check out this latest article. Click all the fucking different links there. Open up 40 different tabs and just check out the information that on all the homework that Jay's fucking done. Jay and his entire crew from Evil Von Scary, the whole fucking crew. Mostly Jay.
Really
and then you're just there telling me he's fucking crazy.
I'm just there to be like...
Yeah, her and Kelly are like, okay, Jay, wind that back. You're fucking nuts.
Okay. But anyways, check out the article. It's absolutely fucking crazy. Once again, I'm Jay's asked me to do this, and I'm going to do it. Fucking apparently read this book, Chaos, Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 60s by Tom O'Neill. Apparently, I haven't read it yet. It's honestly a big book for me, and it doesn't have the pop-ups or the scratch and sniff, so I'm probably not going to get around to reading it. But apparently, it's a fantastic book. Yeah, it covers so much shit.
So far, it's amazing. It's going in my reference library as like because my permanent library where I'm like, oh yeah, what was that thing? And then I go pull it out. Like it's going in there.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Anyways, guys, let us know what you think. Governments running cults, governments creating killers and putting them in cults, and cults, killers, intelligence agencies. Make connection. Fucking comments below. All right. Till then, stay safe. Don't drink the fucking Kool-Aid. And we'll talk to y'all later.
Later.
Why are you so offended?